What's up, everybody? I've been getting some requests to give you guys an update on myself. I guess because I've been going for so long without Kratom now, I figured you guys didn't really care. You know? Like, oh, he's past it. But I do have some updates. One, I have had 0 cravings for Kratom. That's a big update. I think I might have said that already. But 2, man, I'll tell you what, something big that I didn't even notice at the time, you know, because when you quit in the beginning stages, I always say you're just trying to survive. You know, the first few weeks, you're just trying to survive. Then, you know, it's like an emotional roller coaster. For me, it was an emotional roller coaster. And I kind of just, you know, that was my thing to deal with on my own. I wasn't like crying in front of all kinds of people, you know, but it was real emotional for me. And over the past few years, though, I've thought a little differently about emotions. You know, I always thought that crying, a lot of people think crying and, you know, is a bad thing, and it's, oh man, I don't know why I'm crying all the time, and I can't relate to other people. You know, if you're crying nonstop multiple times a day for months, then, you know, maybe there is something wrong. You need to seek some help, maybe. But, you know, I've cried more these past 5 years, you know, than, you know, probably my whole life previously. And that was, you know, I had lost somebody real close to me, so that's one reason. But I noticed, like, it felt, when I'm thinking about the person I lost, like, it felt good to cry. Whenever I was crying, it felt good, you know what I mean? So I'm like, that it's part of the process, you know what I mean? If your body's telling you to cry, it's, you know, it's probably good to let it out than to just keep it in and, you know, let that knot build in your throat. Like, it's probably good to let it out. And I thought I was like the most mentally solid person for years. Like, what? Crying? But yeah, I thought a little differently about, I think a little differently about it now. But anyway, first few weeks after you quit, you know, you're just trying to survive. And then after that, once you pass, you know, obviously the main withdrawals, then you're trying to figure life out after that. You know, you're living your same life you were living, but you're just not using anymore. So it's like, what do I do? You know, it's hard to do certain things without going to reach for your Kratom. You know, that's how I felt. Like, Friday night, Saturday night, sit down and watch movies with the family. It was like, man, I would always take a big dose of Kratom and, you know, sit back and chill, watch a movie with the family. Not an option anymore. You know, we'd go out shopping with the family, do, you know, whatever we're gonna go do, go to the park, take a big dose of Kratom. I'm like, yeah, you know, let's get going, let's do this. And I think what I wanted was, I'm gonna have a good time with the family, and we're gonna enjoy ourselves. I'm gonna be a good dad, I'm gonna be a good husband, I'm gonna be there in a good mood. That's what I wanted, but in my head I needed Kratom to do that. But so after the initial withdrawals, you're trying to figure out how to be that person that you want to be on Kratom without Kratom. You know, that's what you got to figure out. And that's a big one, you know. The fatigue, no sleep, obviously that gets better and better and better. The longer you're off Kratom, the more you're eating healthy, working out, it'll get better. Promise you, it gets better. I have no fatigue now. I mean, I work out all the time, so that's a big thing, you know what I mean? Like, even in the morning, I wake up and I'm not like, oh, exhausted for an hour or two, and I'm like just lethargic. Doesn't happen, because I work out. Get some better food in you, eat some protein, drink a lot of water, electrolytes, you'll be solid, promise you. So the fatigue and the no sleep, you get over that. And then now you're trying to figure out, like I said, how to be that person without Kratom. The person you wanted to be. You thought you were that person. You take your Kratom, you're like, I'm there, I'm that guy. You know, but you're not, because you needed Kratom to get there. And that's a big one, you know. And it's like I had to develop good habits. And like I've been saying the whole time, God, trying to eat healthier, drink more water. I've always drank a good amount of water. That always scared me when I was taking a bunch of Kratom and drinking energy drinks. I would always drink like a bottle of water in between everything. So I peed a lot, one, but I always drank a good amount of water, a lot of water. I lost my thought, my train of thought. I get off on these tangents and I forget where I'm going. But oh yeah, developing good habits. I had to develop good habits. So I've been, which I'm not 100% great habits. I'm there perfect. It's just not happening. But I have way better habits now. You know, I work out 5 times a week. You know, what we've been doing lately is we've been going to the gym as a family. But God, working out, eating healthier, and this is a big one that you know, people don't think about. You think that you take your Kratom and it's like, oh cool, I got the energy now to do things, and it's true and it's not true. You know what I mean? Sometimes you take your Kratom and you're not all super motivated like you wanted to be, or you might be feeling anxious, or however you're feeling. I'll say anxious. Take your Kratom and you think that's gonna take your anxiety away, and it doesn't. You know what I mean? I felt that before too. Like man, I'm like, I took a lot of Kratom. I should be chilling right now, but I have some anxiety. And that was happening, you know, more in the months leading up to me quitting. And I don't even have like anxiety. So I thought it was real weird. And so yeah, lost my train of thought. I guess I'm having Kratom brain again. But yeah, developing good habit. Trying. That's what I was saying. You have to try. You know what I mean? And you learn that in the stages after. I mean, of course, the first few weeks that you're struggling with withdrawals, you're trying hard. Then once you're over that, like, you do feel a sense of accomplishment, but you know there's still work because you're exhausted all the time, and you can't sleep that good at night, which just, you know, makes the fatigue worse during the day. So you try hard every day. I did. I was trying hard, like walking up the stairs. I'd wake up in the morning and I'd be like, oh man. It wasn't too bad in the morning, just all day I was just like out of breath, and it was hard to do stuff. So during that time, the fatigue stage, post Kratom, you learn to try. Like, I could get home from work and just lay down all day, which I did for a few weeks. Don't get me wrong. It happened. But I had to force myself to get up. Hey, get up. You do that load of laundry. Get up, rake the yard. Get up, mow the lawn. Get up, throw the trash. Get up, take your kids to go do something. Get up and, you know, put your arm around your wife and say, hey, sit down with me. Let's watch a movie. Try. Like, legitimately try every single day. And I'm not perfect at this, obviously. I'm just saying that's what you have to learn to do. I learned to do that a lot more, and I'm still doing it, you know, because you're not relying on Kratom, you know what I mean? And I'm probably relying a little bit on caffeine these days, but I can go without caffeine. It's like, it does nothing to me now. I've been drinking too much caffeine, that's for sure. Drinking too much caffeine. But that's a big one. You know, just trying every single day. Like, you want to be that person, you want to be that guy, you want to be that woman that you wanted to be on Kratom, like in a good mood, you got energy. Like, that's why I did it. And I'm sure a lot of you, that's why you did it. You wanted to have energy. You wanted to be in a good mood. It felt good, obviously. And, you know, you felt like him, you felt like her when you took it. But obviously it turned on you. But you could be him, you could be her without it. I promise you. You know, working out, you know, you quit, work out for a few months, get your mind right, get your spirituality right, try every day with your partner, with yourself, your kids, if you got kids, like put in the effort. Do that for a few months. You start feeling like him or her. Like you're feeling it, you know what I mean? I was washing my hands earlier at the corner store because I'm always driving around talking to customers. I was washing my hands and I'm like, I got a little muscle going on in my arms and in my back and in my shoulders, you know? I felt scrawny on Kratom. I've said that before, but it's like you start putting in the work, you see the work. If you're just down in Kratom every day, man, you can't be him. I'm sure there's people that have done it. You know what I mean? They got it all. They just got the Kratom problem too. It's like, get rid of the Kratom. You got everything else. Get rid of the Kratom. But another thing I noticed, this is a big one. And it happens later on, and you don't even notice it. So there's almost, which I'm sure some of you feel. You know, I get comments all the time. I'm on day 8, I'm on day 10, I'm on day 20, I'm on day 30. It's been 2 months. You know, it's almost like some days you feel a little sad, you know. You're like, man, like I'm not feeling it today. And it's understandable. You know what I mean? You were on a substance for years or months and months and months. In my case, it was like 6 years, 5 to 6 years. Some of you 10. I read a comment today, somebody was on Kratom for 10 years. And somebody was telling me they were taking Kratom in the early 2000s. Like, you know, it's like it becomes a part of your identity. So when you quit doing that substance that you've been doing for years, it obviously messes with your, you know, your chemical, it messes with you chemically inside of your brain, inside of your body. So it took a while and I'm sure it's worse for a lot of people than me. You know what I mean? Like I'm blessed in a lot of things. I have a good outlook anyway. You know what I mean? If I'm having a bad day or feeling a little bit down, it doesn't really get to me. You know what I mean? That's the only way I can put it. I don't let it get to me, I could say. But, you know, after you quit, there's gonna be some days, you know, you might go a few days and you're feeling like a black cloud around you, like, oh, man, and you almost question, like, did I mess myself up doing Kratom for all them years? Like, should I just go back? Is it gonna be like this all the time? Like, am I gonna feel sad all the time from now on? Nope, you won't. You won't, you know. Everything has gotten, man, better. Everything. Those days that you feel sad, like I felt those days. Don't get me wrong. Like I've been there. Afterwards, I don't dwell on it. That's one thing. I don't dwell on it. I'm not like, oh, I feel sad today, and you know, I don't dwell on feeling sad. Like I just know in my head, like today's a little harder day. Pray about it. And I know my body's just getting back to where it needs to be. You know, it's gonna happen. But the longer you get, it's like you hit these stages. After you come out of the Kratom fog, you're like, man, immediately music sounds way better. I don't know if it's just me, but music sounds so much better. Initially, now it's good still, but initially, man, music sounded incredible. And then just everything keeps getting better, you know. Cravings get less and less and less to the point where you don't even crave it anymore. I don't crave Kratom at all. But I think that's a big one, you know. It's like the black cloud, you know, that kind of follows you sometimes when you quit. My hair, people that think I'm growing so much hair, still kind of bald. But yeah, you will not feel sad all the time if you're developing good habits. You know what I mean? If you quit Kratom and you're still just playing video games all day, every day, you're just not taking Kratom anymore. You know, in a basement somewhere, go get some sunlight. You know, things you need: drink water, eat better food, get a workout in today. You know, just do it. And everything gets better. It just seems like you think more clearly, and then That's what I'm really trying to get at, is that's where I'm at now, you know. I you and it happened so steadily. With me it did. Everything just happened so steadily. It wasn't like, bam, I'm good. It's 10 days after Kratom, okay, I'm out now. I'm perfect now. It just didn't happen that way with me. And yeah, you come out of the fog, you know. The days, before you know, you're starting to have more good days than bad days, and then before you know it, you're having way more good days than bad days. And then you notice, you're like, the same way that I would take Kratom when I was feeling sad, stressed out, if it was just a habit, you know, whatever your reason for taking Kratom, I want some energy, I want to get high, whatever the reason was that you took Kratom, you're like, I can do that same thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm feeling however you're feeling today. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start, and it's funny, you hear people say this, but it's like start stacking W's. I heard somebody say it, I don't know who I heard say it, but it's like you start stacking W's. You wake up and maybe get a workout. You're like, that's a W. You know, you get a big jug of water. I've got a big old jug of water. You know, it's like, let's say it's noon and I've already drank, you know, a decent amount. You're like, all right, cool. Like, I'm drinking water today. I had a good breakfast. I had a good lunch. It's like, yeah, I'm eating good today already. Text my wife something sweet. That's good. You know what I mean? Send the kids off to school. I'm not in a bad mood screaming at them. I'm not, you know, it's like you just start, it's these things that, you know, in the future, you're going to feel guilty about other things. And it's not just because you're going to feel guilty about it later on. It's just like you're doing things, developing good habits, because it feels good to do that. It feels good to go to the gym. You feel good afterwards. It feels good to do all these things that are beneficial for your life, including God, another huge one. You're doing all these things that are making you feel good, and then you realize, you're like, that's what it's all about. Like, I'm searching for, we're just searching for ways to feel good about ourselves, you know, to find our place. Maybe we felt out of place, so we're taking substances. You know, we don't feel comfortable in our own skin, so we're taking substances. And from the time you quit to a few months later, you start developing these habits, good habits, and before you know it, you're like, man, like, I've gotten, and you choose your good habits. Only you can choose them. I'm telling you mine. But, you know, months later, you're like I feel good about myself. I feel confident about myself. I feel confident about the way my life is going, and I feel confident in God. You know, I'm a confident person now. Confidence is huge. True confidence, not cockiness, not you know, it's not cocky. Like, oh, look at me. It's a difference. It's like you feel confident about your place in life, you know. And you know, I'm sure that's a huge reason why, if not the main reason why, we were all using, you know what I mean? Whether it was, you know, our childhood or whatever it may be, you know, we didn't feel comfortable just in our own skin, being ourselves without using something. But I guess that's kind of my update. You know, not to spit too many what are those people that they get online, and, you know, not to try to spit too much motivational stuff at you, but that's kind of my update. You know, it's been about 5.5 months, 5 3/4 going on since I quit Kratom, and best decision. I hesitate to say it's the best decision I've made in my life, but it's like, man, how could it not be the best decision I've ever made in my life? I'm sure there's other ones, but it's a recent one that I'm proud of, for one, and I feel great about, you know. But it took some work. And I saw somebody comment. I wish I could say your name on here, but I don't remember your name. You commented and you said, I'm still on Kratom, and I know God is going to give me the strength to quit. And I'm going to say yes and no to that. Yes and no. Because, and it's going to sound corny too, because you've heard it before too. You know, when you want strength to do something, God doesn't give you the strength to do it. He put you in a position where you can, you know, put effort forth to accomplish something that'll give you strength. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I don't think I'm saying it correctly, but you know what I mean? If you ask God to be brave, he's not just going to give you, he's not just going to make you feel brave. He's going to put you in a situation where you have to be brave, you know? So what I'm really trying to say is, if you want to quit Kratom, like, yeah, you're going to have to put in some work. It's not just you're not just going to wake up one day and you have it all figured out 100%. I tell people all the time, there's never a perfect time to quit. You know, there's just not. But any day is a perfect time to quit. You know, there's never perfect circumstances, but you know, today is the day to quit Kratom, because you're gonna have to go through some stuff for a few weeks, you know what I mean, or longer. But the hardest is the first few days, for sure. And it's like, you know, my buddy, he hasn't posted a video in a while, Arius, but he said, you know, you're just kicking that can down the road. Just keep kicking that can down the road, postponing it. You might as well quit today. There's never perfect circumstances. Quit today. You know, I thought I was real frustrated with my Kratom use for a while, you know, but it kind of hit a head back right before I quit. It was July 2023. Around that time, I was very frustrated and just disgusted in how much Kratom I was using. I was, you know, wasn't being honest about my use, and I just, you know, I was fed up. So I just knew in my head, I made the choice before I quit, I'm not gonna go back to Kratom again. It's not gonna happen. The day I quit for real, I'm not gonna go back. I'm not gonna be tempted, and that's not gonna be my identity. I can't wait to quit. I can't wait to quit. I would tell myself all the time, I can't wait to quit. And it was like, you know, you keep telling yourself, you convince yourself. I convinced myself, I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna quit. And the more I said it, the more courage I had to do it. And I knew I was gonna do it. And I tell everybody to this day, you know, right before you quit, tell everybody. You know, I felt embarrassed telling a few people, you know, that I was addicted to something. Told them, this is what it is. This is what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do, you know? And I did not lie to myself. That's a huge one. Don't lie to yourself. If you're gonna do something, do it, you know? But I guess I've worn this video out all I could. That's my update. 5 3/4 months it's been since I quit, and it's still going great, guys. But y'all be safe.